Hello and welcome to ACIDSOC Tutor Support. In this video, I will be talking about ACIDSOC's teaching method for conducting a trial lesson. Now, since time management is of primary importance, we have divided a 25-minute lesson into 3 parts. So we start with the opening. Okay, so the opening would take 2 to 5 minutes, and this is where we do the greeting, we ask warm-up questions, and of course set expectations as well as objectives with our students. Moving on to the next part, we have the 15 to 20 minute lesson proper. This is where we focus on practice and performance. Now you can ask questions for accuracy and fluency practice. This is where you can introduce new vocabulary in the lesson or relevant to the topic of your lesson and provide appropriate corrections for the students depending on common mistakes or major grammatical mistakes and pronunciation errors that they often commit. Okay, so last but not the least, we have the wrap-up, which is for 3 to 5 minutes. And this is where we do a quick recap or provide a brief summary of the lesson. It gives you an opportunity to fill out student comment cards and of course to bid our students farewell. Okay, now all of these are considered to achieve our teaching goal. And our teaching goal is to help students develop their English skills where they can communicate accurately, naturally, and of course spontaneously. Our key objective is to help prepare students for English communication in real-world situations. Okay, so we always have to think about what our target is whenever we deliver a lesson. Now let's focus more on the trial lesson. A trial lesson is where a prospect student gets a glimpse of what an ACIDSOC class is like. It's a major deciding factor for whether or not to study with us. Okay, and so that's why we have those 3 parts when it comes to a 25-minute ACIDSOC lesson. Let's start with the opening. We have greeting. Be active and enthusiastic. Smile while you're speaking because it does show through. This actually sets the tone of the lesson. Okay? And it helps build genuine connection with your student and makes your student feel more at ease during the lesson. One very important factor that you have to consider is to confirm your students' English learning goals, because that's what they're here for. They'd want to achieve their goals. You can ask something similar to the example question that's provided. You have to base it on the learning intention indicated on the website and ensure that what we have on the website on their class details is actually what they'd really want to learn. Also determine their English difficulties or the challenges that they face when they're learning English so that we can give them some specific advice along the way. Okay. The next part is the lesson proper, which is 15 to 20 minutes. Take note that we adjust this based on the material provided. You have to be flexible based on the material that you'll be using. But there are 4 important points that you have to remember. Of course, first and foremost is for you to be able to introduce or present new vocabulary. Now, new vocabulary can be a completely new word. It can be a word wherein students are unable to define or express the meaning of it. And also words wherein students are unable to use it naturally. Upon introducing or presenting the new vocabulary, we have to activate the words that they learn. And we can achieve this by repetition. So if you ask close-ended questions, most of the students would give you a one-word answer or a one-word reply. And we ask for complete sentences when they answer so that they'd be able to use the vocabulary within the question in their answers. And then we also have to consider the practice exercise. We have accuracy practice where we focus more on corrections, taking notes of common mistakes, pronunciation mistakes, it can be grammatical mistakes, or some lapses or lack of vocabulary. Okay, and we ask them for example sentences. And then we have fluency. Fluency practice is where we avoid interruptions, where students can speak freely and express their thoughts so that we can check their sentence structure. Of course, we take note of common mistakes, but we provide feedback right after. Okay, and then of course the last part is the wrap-up. So this is where we recap, where we do the recap and provide a brief summary. And instead of spoon-feeding students with information, we can actually extract the important information that they've learned from us. So we can do so by asking some questions such as, what new words can you remember from our lesson today? Or what are the most important points from this lesson? You'd be able to check their listening comprehension through these questions. You'd also be able to check if they were actually paying attention. And of course, you'd be able to show them what they've actually learned in a matter of 20 minutes. Okay? And another thing that you have to take note of is to give them advice, a brief advice on how to achieve their English learning goals based on the difficulty or challenges that they face. Okay, so other than that, anything that they would like to ask about enrollment, about schedule, about your availability, kindly direct them to one of our CS members. Our CS members will be happy to assist them, and hopefully they'd enroll with ACIDSOC. Okay, so for any questions, please do drop me a message, but hopefully everything is clear. So good luck with your lesson and enjoy.